The Last of Us Part 1's PC port is reportedly an unmitigated disaster. Launched on March 28, 2023, i.e. last week, this port of Naughty Dog's remake to the critically acclaimed PlayStation 3 stealth action horror title has run into a cavalcade of issues. In fact, among these problems, The Last of Us Part 1 on PC sits with a lot of negative user reviews on Steam. It stresses out many people's computers, CPUs, and whatever computer jargon you want to discuss. The game takes forever to download shaders, meaning that the wait for the shaders to download may take so long that your purchase may surpass the parameters of Steam's refund policy before even playing the game, which you know is timed, meaning that you might not be able to refund the game due to how long it takes to download those aforementioned shaders. The game is unplayable on Steam Deck, all to the point that the game is now unsupported on it, and then there are all the reports of the game crashing. And make no mistake, from what I can garner, The Last of Us Part 1 on PC crashes an epic fuck ton, kind of like Santa piloting his sleigh on Christmas Eve after having too much Bacardi, because truly, the drunk magic is real. Hell, even in the start menu, before even playing the game, there have been claims that the game can just keel over and die, and for that, The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is truly a mess. And while sure, there are some glitches that offer some entertainment value here, like texture issues, there's the funny image of Tess floating as if she's about to be eviscerated by Vecna, and then there's how characters in cutscenes can look as if they are drenched in water for no reason, which kind of makes all these aforementioned characters look akin to that Jordan Peele sweating gif, which is amusing. But then again, this is besides the point, because despite the humorous nature of the glitches, The Last of Us Part 1 on PC reportedly performs terribly, and can even be unplayable due to the amount of times that it crashes, which is unacceptable. After all, a game should not release in such a fashion, and to be blunt, The Last of Us Part 1 is clearly a broken product. So with all of that, we have to wonder, how in the hell was The Last of Us Part 1's port to PC released in such a state? Because similar to a meal at Taco Bell, it clearly was not ready for human consumption and needed more time in the oven. Like, this game is fucking raw. And to answer this question, there's probably a few factors, many of which were pointed out in an analysis article by the gamer's Tess, which is a really good article and one you should give a read. The link is in the description. As noted in the article, independent porting studio Iron Galaxy was responsible for porting The Last of Us Part 1 over to PC, which was an odd choice on Sony's part, seeing as Sony owns Nixxes, an internal studio that handles many ports. Yet still, Iron Galaxy was entrusted to this job, which was problematic given that Iron Galaxy was also responsible for the infamously bad Batman Arkham Knight PC port, which had many similar performance issues as The Last of Us Part 1's PC port. It was not good, but still, as the Gamer article notes, the blame shouldn't entirely be placed on Iron Galaxy. If anything, they are just a convenient scapegoat. Instead, Naughty Dog and Sony deserve blame as well. See, Naughty Dog and Sony likely knew that the port was in a bad state prior to launch. After all, Naughty Dog originally delayed the game for 25 days, meaning that the studio thought the game needed more time. And to add insult to injury, review codes for The Last of Us Part 1 on PC were not set out until the day of release, meaning that they didn't want to receive any form of press before launch, which is always a good sign that your game might be in trouble, that The Last of Us Part 1 on PC had problems. Which then begs the question, why did Naughty Dog and Sony think that it was okay to release a game in such an abysmal state? And to answer, well, there's something we have concrete evidence for. There's only theories. No relation. Like maybe Naughty Dog and Sony thought the 25-day delay would be enough time to fix the issues, or maybe Sony and Naughty Dog wanted to capitalize on the very popular adaptation of The Last of Us on HBO, and they did not want to wait too long now after the season had ended. But as I said, these are just theories, nothing concrete. So that's how and potentially why The Last of Us Part 1's PC port was so shoddily released. But now you might be wondering, where does the game go from here? What happens to The Last of Us Part 1 on PC now? And to answer, Naughty Dog released a statement on Twitter on launch day stating, quote, "We know some of you have not experienced the Naughty Dog quality you expected. Our team is working hard to resolve issues currently preventing some of you from experiencing the game to ensure it reaches the quality level you expect and deserve. A hotfix addressing jittering on mouse-controlled camera movement, some crashes, and more of The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is slated for Tuesday, which is today as of this recording. A larger patch with additional fixes will be deployed later in the week. We also encourage players to ensure you are using the latest NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel graphics drivers. Our team and our dedicated partners at Iron Galaxy will continue to investigate and address known issues to deliver the great The Last of Us Part 1 experience you expect." End quote. In my opinion, Naughty Dog's statement is mixed news. On the one hand, it's good that the developer is taking this issue seriously. It's good that they're devoting time and effort to fix the game. But on the other hand, though, The Last of Us Part 1 on PC should not have been released in such a shoddy shape, because honestly, it's clear that this game was not ready for launch, and now PC gamers have been left holding the piss bucket, many of which are not able to refund this game due to exceeding the maximum amount of playtime required to qualify for Steam's refund policy. You know, because of the earlier aforementioned issue about how long it takes to download fucking shaders. Many of these players can't get their money back, though there are reports that some folks were refunded their purchases even despite surpassing the timed parameters of Steam's refund policy. But it is unclear if that's because Steam is making an exception for The Last of Us Part 1, or if those refunds are isolated incidents. But regardless, the situation with The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is just pure chaos, and not the fun kind either. It's just a mess that has made many customers very unhappy. And overall, that's really unfortunate, because PC gamers deserve a good port for The Last of Us. Hell, PC ports of good console exclusives is something that I overwhelmingly support, even though I don't really play games on PC that often. See, despite primarily being a console gamer myself, Sony porting games like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War 2018, and etc. over to PC is a good thing because it allows more people to play some of my favorite games. It delivers an opportunity for a new audience to participate in these titles that I love so much. But The Last of Us Part 1 on PC mocks that desire, mostly because it is a shell and a husk of what The Last of Us is and represents. To be honest, this port devalues the quality inherent in the original game, and ultimately PC gamers deserve so much better than this shit show. They deserve to have a game that was playable, instead of something that crashes often and has poor performance. PC gamers deserved to play The Last of Us. And with that, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like rating, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a comment telling me what you think of The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. Also, please consider checking out my Patreon page. $1 a month gets you under this credit sequence, and $5 a month allows you to make quick review and impressions requests. The link to my Patreon is in the description. And speaking of Patreon, I just want to thank my patrons, particularly my high tier ones in Samantha Devlin, Mom, and Morgan. Thank you so much for supporting what I do. Love y'all.